ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। हरिः ॐ। पार्थाय प्रतिबोधितां भगवता नारायणेन स्वयं व्यासेन ग्रथितां पुराणमुनिना मध्ये महाभारतम् अद्वैतामृतवर्षिणीं भगवतीम् अष्टादशाध्यायिनीम् अम्ब त्वाम् अनुसन्दधामि। भगवद्गीते भवद्वेषिणीम् वसुदेवसुतं देवं कंसचाणूरमर्दनम् देवकी परमानन्दं कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुं। मूकं करोति वाचालं पङ्गुं लङ्घयते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे परमानन्दमाधवम्। My namaskars to you all. We are deliberating on the verses from chapter number 8 of Srimad Bhagavad Gita. So, last two classes we dwelt upon this verse number 7 and two aspects of it. One which is Mai Arpita Manobuddhi, and what it may mean. And the another aspect is Sarveshu Kaleshu Mam Anusmara Yuddhacha. So, how can it become possible, etc. Now, until now, the story here is, to put it very briefly. So Bhagwan said, means this turn takes place at the end of the 6th chapter. So Bhagwan he asks him to meditate. He takes the idea that Jnana Vijnana Yoga, the wisdom being that he is the one ultimate reality which is enveloping and permeating everything. Meditating upon that, then at the end of it, then comes the idea of these 4 different terms, Adhibhuta, Adhidaiva, etc. And he asked this question, Adhiyajna, how is it that become possible? Because he has used those terms in the context of Jara Marana Mokshaya Mama Shritya Yatantiye. And that's why Arjuna is interested. How does one do that? Adhiyajna. He explains the terms and simply comes down to the simpler idea that if you leave this body at the time of death, remembering me, Anta Kaleja Mameva Smaran Muktva Kalevaram. Kalevaram is this body. If you leave this body, remembering me, so you will definitely, without doubt, that you will reach me. And this idea taken forward, he says that this is not only if you remember me, but if you remember anything else, you will attend to it. So, this is to be noted. And I had earlier pointed this idea and explained to you that why for Hindus dying is very important. How do you die? That is very important. Since birth itself they are thinking about death, how you are going to die. So, and I explained that position also, why Hindus thinks like that. So everything has the spiritual context only. So it is not the pessimistic attitude. They are only thinking about the long-term goal. That's why the attitude. Now I am not going to repeat those ideas again. So now here in the 7th verse, the last verse which we saw, Bhagwan has said that therefore this all taking everything together. So tasmat sarveshu kaleshu mam anusmara yudhyacha. So sarveshu kaleshu. In all times remember me, keep my remembrance and fight. So here his duty is fight. That's why the word expressly used at Yudhya, you fight. For all other people, we need not necessarily fight with others. We have to do our kartavya karma. So, if the idea of spiritual life is clear, then idea of kartavya will be clearer. And in that context, what does it mean, Mai Arpita Mano Buddhi? This idea also we taken up. It does not mean you switch it off. We like to do that many times. So it's, you can say, a fault, or you can say that's how the system is. That's how we are. Our mind, or in general we can say we ourselves, our first preference is easy route. That's why this trouble is. So Bhagwan ne to bola hai. Means even you go to the 18th chapter, many people quote that verse. Bhagwan ne bola hai, sarva dharman parityajya mamekam sharanam raja aham tva sarva papebhyo mokshayishyami ma shuchaka. कि तुम सब धर्मों का, तुमको कोई धर्म करने का जरूरत नहीं है. So we can always interpret. So मठ में साधु लोग, so apart from a serious aspect of spiritual life, there is also fun, wit and everything. Entertainment is always going on. So because Sri Ramakrishna was a very interesting and fun loving person, not at the cost of spiritual life though. Not at the cost of. So there he is very damn serious. But along with it, so our 12th President Maharaj, he 13, 14, I am 10th President Maharaj is Vireshwaranandaji. Gambhiranandaji was 12th, 13th, 14th President Maharaj. Swami Bhuteshanandaji. He was also a very fun-loving person, and he was always very calm and never used to get agitated or irritated or vexed. Never. He was a great scholar of the scriptures, really, and it was known in India. So, and he has a great life, great character. He was respected not only in the Ramakrishna order, because he is Sangha Guru here, he is the Paramadhyaksha of the Ramakrishna Math. So outside of Ramakrishna Math also, in the monastic traditions and other religious denominations, he was very well respected. So he was also a very fun and wit-loving person. So many people used to gather around him. Monks, people means monks and brahmacharis. So after the breakfast, and there used to be at least some 30-40 minutes, And in that, so specific questions about spiritual life, or with related to Shastra, or practicing these ideas in our day-to-day life, all kinds of topics used to come up in that 30-40 minutes. So somehow so even in the book form also it is available, those talks, because when Swami has recorded that and is produced in the form of book. So once he commented that even in fun and jest, a sadhu should be always sadhu. He should not forget that. So as it is with the sadhu, as it is with any spiritual aspirant. So now this fun and jest, so with monks it is always going on. So many people in general, this is the, as I said, you can say it fault or you can say it, that's how the system is. Our mind is inclined to think or take this easy route. What is that easy route? Try to make thing or interpret thing or understand things in a way that it may be comfortable and convenient to you as per your convenience. Okay. So in Bengali, this word is called as suvidha. Convenience is called as suvidha. So sadhus gave this name Suvidhavadi Vedanta. So this is the new version of the Vedanta, new school of Vedanta, which is called as the Suvidhavadi Vedanta. So time and again we find to be the subscriber of this iteration, Suvidhavadi Vedanta. So we try like to so that's how our mind works. We are very defensive, protective and very afraid being that something uncomfortable we will have to face. So it is the natural course. Your course of progress and spiritual upliftment is against it. Not altogether. So anything which is against your comfort is going to cause spiritual evolution? Not like that. Not like that. But initially, as long as this attachment, and which is very deep, as and how you remove the gross layers of it, it becomes very subtle, intertwine, intermix, it disappears into your pretense of knowledge. That's how it is. So this refining goes on. And so initially it is very crude, and later that spiritual aspirant has to be always be watchful or on guard for finding these kinds of errors in its assessment and judgment, and once they are found, correcting them, accepting them that this is my fault, this is my error, I had been biased towards myself, towards my own interest. So Mai Arpita Mano Buddhi, not necessarily. So what does it mean? It means that you engage it in working out your salvation, working out to find your path, your progress, your furtherance towards this one ultimate goal, which is referred as Mukti, Moksha or Atmajnana, in whatsoever way you can put it, howsoever way, according to your temperament, according to your constitution. So for bhakti, it might be, for bhakta, it might be Ishwar Darshan. For yogi, it might be that Samadhi, Nirvija Samadhi. For Jnani, it might be that what you say, Jnana, Atma Jnana, Brahma Jnana. And for Karmi, it might be a freedom, freedom, that absolute unselfishness, the removal, complete removal, absolute removal of the ego, obliteration of the ego, various ways. So, these idea of moksha is need to be understand very well. These four ideas, dharma, artha, kama and moksha. I had explained earlier in earlier class, but probably the people who were present in this class are not here today. So we can always take up that idea. So to understand it briefly is what I just pointed out. The idea of kartavya, idea of karma, or here in this context, these four things are called as purushartha. Purushartha chatushtaya. Chatushtaya means four. Purushartha. Artha here means purusha, means the person. So it is not meant for woman. No. It does not say so. So purusha is referred to the soul. So whether is a man, woman or anybody. So purusha is the soul. Jiva. And his artha means his four interests or four important purposes of life, by which he will be directed, motivated and conducts his life. Dharma, artha, kama, moksha. So it recognizes this vyavaharik satya, the practical reality. Howsoever he may be, wheresoever he might have been born, with whatsoever qualities, whatsoever temperaments, whatsoever education or married life he is having, howsoever he is successful in the life. So everything it recognizes, vyavaharik satya it recognizes. And it also recognizes the ultimate goal, paramarthik satya. The paramarthik satya or ultimate reality is the key, or it is one with this idea of moksha. So what is the ultimate reality and what is the idea of moksha? Moksha is emancipation. So moksha is liberation. So liberation, then you have to understand liberating, you are liberating from what? The idea of bondage must be very clear then. तुमको मोक्ष चाहिए, तुमको मुक्ति चाहिए, तुमको ये फ्रीडम चाहिए, तो तुमको बंधन क्या है, ये धारणा तो तुमको कहीं स्पष्ट होनी चाहिए. वो that person must have awakened to this idea of bondage first. So understanding of why a person is in bondage and why does he seek moksha. So you want to come to this idea, and to mean these ideas something to that individual, that person has to travel a lot of distance on this curve of spiritual path, on this curve of spiritual evolution, before this idea means something to him. Moksha, bandha and moksha. And once, if these ideas are clear, so why man is in bondage, so why man behaves, so it explains why this idea of moksha and why this idea of paramarthik satya or ultimate reality is important, because it is the most fundamental. There is nothing below or higher than that. Okay, nothing, okay, so greatest, most fundamental idea. So it explains the behavior of the human being. That's what our ultimate question is. कि भगवान मुझे इतना दुख क्यों है, जगत में इतनी विषमता क्यों है, ऐसा क्यों है, वैसा क्यों है, ये छूटता क्यों नहीं, जाता क्यों नहीं, why I am unhappy, I have earned so many things, I have had a lot of education, success, everything. Why do these people behave like this? Why does it does not happen with me? That's it. So it explains the very behavior of human being. What do they seek? Why do they behave the way they behave? The root nature, the real nature of the human being as well as the reality itself. All of it. Now, so if this explains our behavior and it explains that how person is going to achieve that fulfillment, contentment, real peace, happiness, substantial one, not the hollow one, not the pretense and facade of it. So that's then really everybody will raise their hand. Yes, we want that, right? Then yes, if you understand this, so this is how things goes. And if now idea, so what caused the bandhana? Karma causes the bandhana, desire causes the bandhana, and person is, so what is the implication of bandhana? So once the person, suppose he comes to realize that, he comes to understand how he is going to be liberated. So now the idea of liberation, idea of moksha, will define how should be your policy to conduct yourself into the world while doing what you have to do. This policy, general policy, is called as the dharma. So Swami Vivekananda has defined many a times. So somebody asking, what is kartavya, what is duty? He says, whatever takes you nearer to the moksha, that is your duty. So what dharma is always defined on the basis of moksha. So moksha is the adhar of dharma. Moksha is also adhar of kama and artha. So dharma is the general policy, how to approach, how to take decisions. That is dharma. So dharma is not definite, you should do this and you should do not do this. That is not dharma. It definitely tell you do's and don't, what you should do, because dharma is related with action. Dharma is related to taking decisions, how to act. That is very much dharma. But it is not definite list, because it is subject to the individual and the context of desha kala nimitta. In what place you are, in what time you are, and what is the cause. So your actions, the course of action you should undertake, will vary according to this context. Desha kala nimitta. So your dharma is dependent upon this. Desha kala nimitta, the situation, the world outside. Not only that, along with you, what kind of person you are. You are not a very brave person. So it is accepted. You run away from a situation. There will be only admonition. कि तुमको ऐसा नहीं करना चाहिए था, कि तुम साहस अवलंबन करो, etc. But the person who has the capacity now, but just for selfishly let alone other fellow suffer, and this with this cunning attitude, he is escaping from the situation, he would be vehemently criticized that he didn't follow the dharma. So in the similar situation, two people will be judged differently, because the nature of the people, the nature of the individual differs. So desha kala nimitta, or desha kala patra also it is called, the individual. So this is dharma, this is general policy. And what is this kama and artha? Kama is your immediate goals or immediate desires. So what what you should desire, this is again defined by the idea of moksha itself. Moksha and dharma decide what you should desire. It is not how to fulfill your desire. Because how to fulfill your desire, dharma tells that. What desire you should have, how to choose, how to prioritize, how to put themselves in an order. This is the portion of kama, how to deal with the desires. So there is a student, so he has a desire to go out and play on the ground. But there is also, his father has given him some task to do. So he is faced with the country, then he approaches mother. And if his mother, supposedly so she is a good woman and she wants this person, this boy should learn the self-restraint. Though it might be very tempting, he must control his temptation, he must fulfill the task his father has given and then go for play. So he is learning the self-control. So he is prioritizing his desires, kama. Alright. So this portion is the kama. So dharma, artha, kama, artha. Artha is the means. Artha is not only the money or say wealth. Artha is any kinds of resources, including human beings. You engage in achieving this kama. So this also dharma and moksha dictates. So how should you go about it? So in this 4 Purushartha Chatushtaya, the fundamental root of it is this Paramarthik Satya. What is the ultimate reality? So what is the idea of moksha? What is the idea of emancipation and liberation? They dictate this, how a person should live his life. How he should go about dharma, artha, kama, so that he will attain moksha. So his all mana and buddhi, he engages in find out this way, the right way, to how to fulfill this. So to the best of his understanding of himself and the outside world, he thinks that this is righteous or this is inappropriate and how to go about it. So he engages his mind and his intellect to figure out that. That is Mai Arpita Mano Buddhi. You do not find out the way. Mai Arpita, he always is surrendered to God. You ask God that I do not want to tell a lie. I do not want to be the party to the corrupt people. There might be situation. So you cannot simply add, you do not want to do, suppose there are situations like that in the real world. You do not want to do corruption yourself, but because you are there, you have to be party to it. There would be compulsion. Otherwise, these people would immediately harm you, thinking that you would probably spill the beans upon them at any time. So they consider you threat. So these kinds of situation. So in what situation, what you should do, this dharma, what will cause your spiritual progress, what will cause, so there are no list of things that what you should do and what you should not do. So what is the way out? That is the domain of dharma. So this should be attained. So sometimes telling a lie probably can be a virtuous than speaking the truth. It can be, though scriptures do not advocate that. The Gita does not say that. Sri Ramakrishna do not say that. Sri Ramakrishna was very steadfast. He was uncompromising about telling the truth. He was uncompromising about that. But if there are situations, you pray to God if you really believe in whatsoever way, and just be patient. And if you are really hell-bent upon following the dharma, you will find out the way. This is so people make great sacrifices to stick to their dharma. Sometimes they lose everything just to stand by the truth. So that person must be a very, very great person who has progressed on this path of spiritual evolution, where for the sake of the truth he can undermine all material interests, that he can consider them insignificant, whatever is lost. So, idea of dharma, artha, kama and moksha. So, for the person, so that's why niti, it is said, the niti which is applicable to sannyasi is not applicable to the king. The niti means the ethics which is applicable to the king is not applicable to the trader. So, according to the person, according to the context of desha kal nimitta or desha kal patra, so what would be really liberating that person, expanding? So I had given context in the previous class or other. So you can judge your action whether it is really taking you forward or not. Whether you consider that action is coming from being really free or being compelled. Whether it is really coming from the standpoint of your strength or from the weakness. You self-analyze yourself. Whether it is setting you free or making you bound. Whether it is you think it is from the point of view of unselfishness or you are becoming selfish. So there would be always varying degrees, but where is the balance tilting in which side, that you will have to see, and that's how you can judge your action. There would be apparently losses or gains in the material world, but do you have that contentment that you have done the right thing? You can judge your actions. So whether they are liberating, they are taking you forward on the path of spiritual evolution. So in this way, so this is how Mayarpita Manobuddhi, you can engage this and go forward. Now, here Bhagavan had said that to remember me always and do your duty. Okay, Yuddhacha means do your duty. So from this 7th verse until now, until the 14th verse, where the same idea is repeated, there are now some verses which deals this subject, like how you, again responding to the Arjuna's idea that how you do this adhiyajna while in this body. So meaning that, and Bhagavan Sri Krishna is explaining this idea that this is expressly dealing with the idea that how you die, at the time of how you die, and how do you attend to me. So now in between this, from verse number 18 to verse number 13, there are the ideas which are, as we will see, they are for the more adept seekers or more adept individuals who have somehow practiced yoga in their life. Without that, simply it would not be possible. Meaning that, so Bhagavan says here that you live your life in this way, constantly remember me, do your duty, and surrendering your mind and intellect to me, your heart and intellect to me, so you will reach me. And then as if he put this, see, this is how also it is done. and you yourself can see that how difficult it is, and again coming back to the same idea. So we will go with these verses. So before to that, I will take your question. Hmm. All right. So look. All right. So this is more or less situation of every one of us. All right. So our Shastras, Gurus, Sadhus, Parampara, they advocate us these ideas that you should do or behave or conduct or approach these things in this way. All right. Now, supposedly, due to our own weaknesses, we cannot do. So, what do I do? So, our answer is, or my position is, what else you can do? This is what Mother answered, Holy Mother answered to such a question, that what you will do. Sadrusham cheshtate swasya prakruter jnanavan api prakrutim yanti bhutani digraha kim karishyati. So, in this verse is probably third chapter, or let me check. This chapter is fourth chapter. This is third chapter. Okay, you find that verse. I'm not able to recollect what is the verse number. Sadrusham cheshtate swasya prakrute jnanvan. One second, I will tell you. So this verse is important. What does it say? It says jnanavan, the person who has attained knowledge. Also jnanavan, it is perfect past tense, who is endowed with knowledge. Here knowledge is not scriptural knowledge. So the person, so to say, he has transcended the limits of this nescience, avidya or prakriti puts. In spite of that, that's why it is important. The person who has not transcended, there wouldn't be any question. He will have to follow the course of prakriti. But the person who has transcended it, jnanavan api, also, what does he do? Sadrusham cheshtate swasya prakrutehe. Swasya prakrutehe. According to his own prakriti, he sadrusham, ta sadrusham. In accordance with it, cheshtate, he works. He makes his effort. Sadrusham cheshtate swasya prakruter jnanavanapi. So jnani also work like that, according to his own prakriti. And then Bhagavan says, prakrutim yanti bhutani. All beings, they are under prakriti. Nigraha, your force, your obstination, what it will do? You cannot go against your prakriti. So this is some truth which we will have to face, accept. You cannot be better than that. You have to live with this idea, make peace with your own faults. You have to accept them. There can be different ways. See, one thing, there is no absolute this way or that way about spiritual progress. What remains within your reach, focus upon that. Suppose you cannot get up in the morning, 2 days you get up, nice. You say, like, I will get up 2 days in a week in the morning. See if you can do that. Space those days separately. You say, I will read 2 days scripture in 1 week. After trying 7 days, you can do 2 days. You start with 2 days. And you have to talk to your mind, converse with your mind. This is the great difficulty. Like, this is how we understand this difference between, that's why the integrity, this is how we understand. Like, we are make big resolutions. I will do like this. I will do like that. From tomorrow itself, 3 hours meditation. Everybody used to think like that when we became monk, that अभी 3 महीने में समाधि करके काम तमाम, और फिर सारे जगत को हम ये कर देंगे एकदम, जैसे स्वामी जी भी चले गए अमेरिका, हम भी सारे जगत को ऐसा ये कर देंगे. तो ऐसे समय जाते जाते बहुत समय चला गया है ना. सो आई यूज्ड टू से कि इनिशियल ईयर्स ऑफ स्पिरिचुअल स्ट्रगल, lot many years, they simply go in that time. It takes that much time to come to the ground, to let your feet touch to the ground. तुम्हारे पैर जमीन को टेकने को ही इतने साल लग जाते हैं. What is that mean? What does it mean? To come to the ground reality. What is what? तुमने ब्रह्म समझ लिया, ठीक है कि नहीं? तुमको अपने आप को भी समझना. ये जो सेल्फ नॉलेज है, ये तुम्हारा यही से चालू होता है. Who actually you are. What kind of bundle of confusion you are, you start with that. That is self knowledge. You start with this self knowledge. You try to think and misinterpret and relabel it as you want, as you fancy. Do you think you are going to do anything better with yourself? You are living in some fool's paradise, la la land. What is going to happen? Nothing is going to happen. If your estimates are incorrect, which data is going to work? This is not tomfoolery. मैंने भगवान आपका नाम लिया, अरे किसको बकवास कर रहे हो, किसको मूर्ख बना रहे हो? मैं इतने साल से आपके यहाँ पे जा रहा था, मैं ऐसा कर रहा, मैंने इतना डोनेशन दिया यहाँ पे. तुम किसको मूर्ख बना रहे हो? खुद को ही बना रहे हो और किसी को नहीं बना रहे हो. This is the business in truth. Truth must be found, and truth is the ultimate thing. सत्यम एव उपासित. ये सत्य की ही उपासना करनी है. श्री रामकृष्ण के शब्द है कि सत्य ही ईश्वर है, ईश्वर ही सत्य है. The truth is God itself. मेरा पोजीशन रॉन्ग हो सकता है, मुझ में फॉल्ट हो सकता है. दिस इज ट्रूथ. कम टू टर्म्स, एक्सेप्ट इट. नो प्रॉब्लम, नो प्रॉब्लम. ट्रूथ इज मोर वैल्यूएबल देन योर ईगो. तुमको जगत में कोई बोलेगा कि सर ईगो तो होना चाहिए, तो बाहर दिखाना पड़ता है, ये सब कितना ऐसा होता. मैं तो बोलता हूं करो ना, कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं. तुमको जहां पे बाहर जगत में जो करना है करो, सारी दुनिया से झूठ बोलो, कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं. जब तुम अपने आप को झूठ बोलते हो उसकी, सो यू कैनॉट एस्टिमेट द लॉस ऑफ इट. यू आर कंडेम्ड इन दैट लाई. You are imprisoned in that lie when you are telling lies to yourself. The person who is telling lie to other, he at least know the truth, what truth is, therefore he is aware. That's why what he is telling to lie, because he knows the truth. The person who is lying to himself, he does not know the truth. That is the tragedy. That is the tragedy. That is lying to ourselves. that you overestimate or underestimate yourself. एक लड़का था, तो हम साथ साथ में पढ़े, तो वो मीडियोकर लड़का था, तो वो हम तो पहले वो सेमी इंग्लिश मीडियम, तो 7वीं तक वो बहुत मतलब इतना ब्राइट लड़का नहीं था, उसको मतलब इंग्लिश मीडियम में इस पर नहीं आना चाहिए था। तो वो एक दिन बात करते हुए, मैं तब देखो 7वीं की बात है मुझे, लेकिन वो प्रसंग मुझे आज भी याद है, इसीलिए याद है क्योंकि कहाँ मिस्टेक कर रहा है वो लड़का। मैं उसके मुंह पे नहीं बोल पाया। उसने क्या कहा मुझे कि काफी सारे मेरे दोस्त बोल रहे हैं कि तू ये इंग्लिश मीडियम में मत आ, ठीक है। नाउ हिज फ्रेंड्स आर ट्रूथफुल अबाउट हिम, पर उसके घर वाले बोल रहे नहीं तू इंग्लिश मीडियम जा। अभी मैं बोले किसका सुनो, मीन्स ही हैड ऑलरेडी डेवलप्ड दैट काइंड ऑफ टेम्परामेंट टू गो टू बिलीव हिज रिलेटिव्स और हिज पेरेंट्स प्रोबेबली वर्ड and go to English medium or which is suppose difficult, because हम तो मतलब कहीं यूरोप में नहीं पैदा हुए ना, गांव देहात में रह रहे हैं, तो हमको कहाँ इंग्लिश का एक्सपोजर है। तो मैं अभी उस लड़के को अभी फिर से मैं कहा कि इसको अभी मैं क्या मन दुखाऊं इसका, पर अल्टीमेटली he has to return back, he went to then again मराठी मीडियम। तो see, you cannot lie to yourself. This is a wrong judgment. तुमको चाहने वाले तुम्हारे प्रति उनके बायस की वजह से तुम नहीं हो जाओगे कुछ। They are overestimating you. You are, and you want to go with that. That is not going to, they are going to increase your suffering, not resolve. It is not going to work with you. You are not going to find any way out of it. So being very realistic, let us call spade a spade. So, but this is the quality of very refined mind. क्योंकि बहुत लॉन्ग एक्सरसाइज वो आदमी को करने से, ये सेल्फ बायस रिड्यूस करने के, खुद के टेम्परामेंट के देखने से कि कहाँ पे मैं एरर करता हूँ, वेयर डू आई लाइकली टू फॉल प्रे टू माई ओन बायसेस. So this is how we do. We know our own mind. We make friends with it. It slowly starts trusting us. क्या बात समझे? Your mind does not trust you. That's why you lie to yourself. That is the fundamental thing. Why would you lie to yourself? Who is going to get benefited? What is lying to ourselves basically? What is this idea? That even though the truth lies in front of us, I do not recognize it. That is lying to ourselves. I do not recognize it. What is causing that? What is influencing that behavior? Is my self-protectionism, self-defense. That it would be uncomfortable, that I would be hurt. So you want to acknowledge to myself, forget about playing with others in a different way. You want to acknowledge myself, I am not comfortable. I am not courageous to accept that I did that mistake. And you want to run away from this fact. You see, when you are explaining your position many times to others, you know that something is wrong with you. That you are hiding something. You tell yourself, when you are trying to explain too much to others that how you are not wrong, you know that something is wrong. That is always. Why would you care? You would react differently if it wouldn't be that. So, this is this mind, this labyrinth of. So, how our mind becomes, purer. So, accepting our own faults, our own shortcomings and rectifying it. So how mind will trust? You will have to negotiate, you will have to find, you have to come to this business deal that how your interest is going to be protected. How? So you have to convey, because it is working on this assumption that if this position is accepted, suppose you had committed something wrongdoing, so you would be humiliated. This humiliation, this is the great fear of mind, that you become a small person. So, because it is directly attacking ego, because there is self-estimation. Now, when you say to your mind, it does not matter, that position is acceptable, that these kinds of mistakes happen, there is nothing wrong with it, people can fail, people can do embarrassing things, so people laugh, that is all right. And visualizing that scenario, that person come to terms with the result of it, if that position is accepted, and if that becomes acceptable, now accepting this mistake becomes possible. This is how every time it happens with us. Every time we are to these mind games are going on, small and big scenario. एक दुकान पे जाते हैं, छोटी मोटी सब्जी खरीदते हैं, ट्रेन में चढ़ते हैं, बस में जाते हैं, हर जगह पे to live a simpler life, it can be a heaven which we have not known probably. जो ये कहते हैं कि the people who realize God or who attains this ultimate, what do they attain? Mother answer this कि ईश्वर दर्शन होने से क्या हो जाता है, उसके क्या दो सिंग निकल आते हैं. हाँ, she says that what happens, he says that the heart of the individuals become purer. He becomes pure. Pure means simple, means there are no complexities, there are no complications, there are no contradictions. श्री रामकृष्ण इसको बोलते हैं मन और मुख एक होना. That what is in your heart, it is also upon your lips. You are not put it to some way other, to try to conceal something, try to sugarcoat something, going about circumvent ways. The great product of this self-realization is this simplicity is attained. बोलते मैं तो बहुत सिंपल आदमी हूं सर. मैंने बोला तुमको सिंप्लिसिटी समझी नहीं है इसीलिए ऐसा बोल रहे हो. जिस सिंप्लिसिटी की बात हो रही है बहुत दूर की कौड़ी है ना. सो and now the point is not to be discouraged. Your body, your mind, whatever this baggage we are born with, this is the resultant of our own karma. All right. So now we are going to bear this burden. There is no two ways about it. All right. So now it is like a question paper given to you, which you have to solve. You cannot complain about it. You have to find out the way how you are going to deal and make the most out of it. That should be the approach. How you are going to do. So like suppose somebody says, like there are many children, they are joke ये YouTube में कोई क्या बोलते हैं उसको, हाँ ना, हाँ वो चैनल नहीं होते हैं तो वो कोई कॉमेडी भी, मतलब बहुत सारे, ये मुंबई का एक लड़का है ना आशीष चंचलानी, तो उसको क्या बोलते हैं वो YouTube क्या जो भी है, नहीं हाँ, ये सदृशम 333 है, वर्स चैप्टर नंबर 3 वर्स नंबर 33, सदृशम चेष्टते स्वस्या। इसके पीछे अच्छा इंडेक्स है, तो इसलिए बहुत काम का है। 333 है। हाँ, और तो उसमें उसने एक ऐसा ये बनाया था वीडियो, तो उसमें क्या है कि दिखा रहा है, सो नाइसली रिप्रेजेंटिंग द very common things with a sarcastic tone and little bit going over the top. That is the humor. So मतलब वो खुद वो लड़का कि मतलब पढ़ाई करने के लिए कितना सीरियस है, बोले अभी ठीक 10 बजे मैं पढ़ाई चालू करूंगा, तो उसके लिए 10 मिनट है, तो दूसरा एक यूट्यूब ऐसा खोला कि पढ़ाई कैसे करनी है, फिर कंसंट्रेशन करना है। धीरे धीरे इतने घंटे बीत गए कि देख रहा है कि मतलब ये ऊंट ये खाना कैसे खाता है। सो समथिंग तो अभी जैसे 1 मिनट हो गया, 10:01 हो गया, अरे शिट टाइम तो चला गया, अभी मैं 11 बजे पढ़ाई चालू करूंगा। सो वेरियस वेज हाउ दिस प्रोक्रेस्टिनेशन हैपेंस, इन फनी वेज वी ट्राई टू पुट इट। इट इज वेरी मच ट्रू अबाउट आवरसेल्व्स, इजंट इट? हम सुबह नहीं उठ सकते, अरे बाकी के दिन तो मतलब तुम्हारा सारा साथ में वहां पे क्या कर रहे हैं आप बताइए मुझे। मैं सुबह 5 बजे नहीं उठ सकता, तुम 7 बजे उठते हो, तुम 7 बजे से तुम क्या पहाड़ तोड़ लिया तुमने, है कि नहीं सच्चाई? इट इज द ट्रेनिंग ऑफ द माइंड एंड स्लीप तो बराबर ही हो जाएगा। सबसे पहला सवाल है हम सोते कितने बजे हैं, क्यों 5 बजे नहीं उठेंगे? हाउ डू वी स्लीप, दैट इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट। मेडिटेशन और स्लीप में बहुत गहरा अंतर है। इफ यू लर्न टू मेडिटेट और इफ यू लर्न टू स्लीप, यू कैन टीच योर सेल्फ बोथ थिंग्स। लाइक यू आर आस्किंग हियर टू कॉन्सेंट्रेट योर माइंड ऑन समथिंग, there you tell your mind that shut down the system, off all windows, over, blackout. How much our mind cooperates with us. Here what is happening? So these resolutions we have which we are taking, that is called as the buddhi. Your mind is not at all listening what you are thinking. अब बोले तुम करो रिजोल्यूशन, हमारा स्ट्राइक है यहाँ पे। सो योर बुद्धि सिंह, अरे हमने ऐसा प्लान बनाया है, ऐसा करो, तो बोले तो हम तो इनको तो जो ही नहीं रेंग रहे। योर माइंड इज नॉट एट ऑल पार्टी टू योर लॉट ऑफ योर स्ट्रॉन्ग विल्ड रिजोल्यूशन, उसका उसमें कुछ पार्टी ही नहीं है वो। हाँ, बोले तुम्हारा रिजोल्यूशन है, तुमने किया, तो हमको कुछ पता नहीं, हम आए ही नहीं थे उस दिन। सो दैट इज हाउ व्हाई वी थिंक एंड डज नॉट हैपन, because thinking is the one part where this other part is missing. He is not party to it. This is called integrity, this lack of integrity. When this integrity is achieved, then Swamiji says, if such a person says something, nature has to follow it. Nature is bound to follow it. This is Yoga Sutra also says that person who is established in this Satya Pratishtha, what will happen? His word will not fail. Whatever may be the impossibility, not the possibility, whatever may be the impossibility, it has to come to pass. Swami Vivekananda says, he says that nature has to, like there was incidents in the life of Sri Ramakrishna. So Mathur Babu, do you know Mathur Babu? He was the son-in-law of Rani Rasmani. So he was a kingly person. He he's a king. He's a shelter. He owns that, and so to say, Sri Ramakrishna is and Pujari Archaka there in the temple. So they are. He's saying. So Mathur Babu said that the laws made by God, even God cannot break. Sri Ramakrishna said, what you are saying? The one who makes the laws cannot break it. He can definitely make it. Then he said, then is it possible that one red hibiscus tree can have a white flower? He said, is it definitely possible? It's possible. And next day morning, Sri Ramakrishna is going for his morning call of nature, and then he sees a hibiscus tree with two flowers. With one twig, there is one white flower, there is a red. Sri Ramakrishna said that it has to. There are many incidences in Sri Ramakrishna's life that when he said, and it has to happen. There is no question about it. That at untimely he had asked some fruit. His disciple has so much faith. He wandered for it several days because he knew that if Sri Ramakrishna has asked, there must be fruit on some tree. And he finally found that fruit and brought it for Sri Ramakrishna. Many times. So, even by not knowing his, so that was wonderful demonstration that how far truth can be practiced. So anyhow, so the point is this is not like a joke. We cannot attain it by our wish and just desire. It is not come in a buzz. It is not. We have to work for it. We have to practice. We have to build it grain by grain. This is not going to happen. There is no shortcut, there is no key, there is no mantra, there is no some secret ritual for it. You have to build it, breaking your back. That's how you create this wealth, which you would be beneficiary of. So not to be disappointed. It is to be earned by us. We have to work towards it. So not to ruffle ourselves too much. Work patiently. Work what lies within your reach. God will give you in abundance. There is no question about it. This is Sri Ramakrishna's words. Do within your limits will be extended. That's how it is. So, our this journey of this next verses we will take from our next class, from verse number 18 to 13. Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Tat Sat Shri Ramakrishna Arpanamastu. So about your question of that spiritual life, spiritual initiation. So you come someday, if you have particular question, there are book also written of spiritual initiation, Swami Bhuteshanandaji Maharaj.